Well, welcome to 700 Club Israel. They came to Israel as peace-seeking, land-working dream builders. They wanted to create a sharing community in their ancestral homeland. It was their magical land of Oz. Well, this kibbutz was a haven for 2 generations. And on October 7th, it was a target for Hamas.
We've all heard of the magical place called Oz. This is my Oz, kibbutz Nir Oz. For me, Nir Oz was a place to come all the family. We ate figs right off the tree. It's where my grandfather taught me how to care for the cacti garden in the backyard. When my grandpa is playing on the piano and we all singing with him. For me, this is home, a second home, a place I grew up in, a place I thought my grandparents will live the rest of their life in. My grandparents built Nir Oz from scratch. They came with an idea to build a sharing community in Israel, in places no one ever been, to build a family, a new house, and to spend their life together. My grandpa and grandma always see neighborhood as the most important thing. They saw the Palestinians always as their beloved neighbors. They always seeked a way to have a peaceful life. My grandpa used to go even inside of Gaza, talking to leaders over there about education to the people over there. Every Saturday, my grandparents used to drive Palestinians from the border of Gaza to hospitals in Israel and give them medical care, because in Gaza they couldn't get very proper medical care. In the 7th of October, Hamas started shooting a lot of missiles into Israel. After those missiles broke through the fence into Israeli territory, it spread it all over the kibbutzim around Gaza and started to massacre, rape, and also they came with a mission. They kidnapped 75 people from Nir Oz. One of each 4 people from Nir Oz is either kidnapped or dead from that day. In the 7th of October, my grandparents was sleeping inside of their beds when the terrorists came inside of the house. My grandpa tried to hold the door, and in the end they broke through the door with gunshots. Heard my grandpa hit him with a gun and kidnapped both of them, Yocheved and Oded Lifshitz, 85 and 83 years old, with other 248 people. Both of them was separated. My grandma even thought that Oded is dead. We only knew that he survived the 7th later when some of the hostages came back after a deal. One of the lady hostages told us that my grandpa is alive and he is not well at all. At the moment, in the kibbutz, everything is now ashes and nothing left. My grandparents' piano, their pictures, all of their collections. Those 2.5 weeks we was waiting to my grandma, this was terrifying because I didn't even knew that she's alive. After she came back and we hugged her, I looked into her eyes and I could have seen that she doesn't even realize that she's really out. You can feel that she's still over there and she will never come back until my grandpa will come back. I want to say something to my grandpa, that we all doing everything we can every day to release you and the rest of the hostages. And I want the world to know also, my grandpa still needs to play piano. He still needs to be beside my grandma and see that everything they worked their entire life on is going to be rebuilt.
Well, that story was produced by the incredible team from the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. You can see more of their work by going to bringthemhomenow.net. That's a special website. Let's Let's continue to hold to the hope that the hostages can be returned. When you look at the situation, the thing that will absolutely lead to peace and will lead to an immediate ceasefire, if Hamas surrenders, gives up all of their weapons and returns all the hostages, peace will start right now. Let's put the pressure on Hamas. That's the bad actor here. That's the face of evil here. And let's continue to recognize they're the ones that started all of this. And we have to make sure that they're the ones that are continually blamed for what's currently happening in Gaza. Imagine if your family was kidnapped, a member of your family was taken away. What would you do to get them back? Let's stand with Israel on this. That's the right thing to do. It's the godly thing to do. Well, like Ner Oz, kibbutz Nerim was decimated on October 7th. The community is determined to return and rebuild. And now CBN Israel is bringing people hope and practical help to restore their lives.
Unique to the Jewish state, kibbutz life is part of the foundation of the country and the lifeblood of southern Israel. What started off as communities with common values, the kibbutzim became the building blocks of a new and growing state. They served to protect and house new immigrants on the heels of World War II and the Holocaust. But on October 7, 2023, that very existence came under threat. Thousands of Hamas terrorists crossed into Israel, killing and kidnapping men, women, and children. Just across the border from the Gaza Strip, kibbutz Nerim was no different.
5 people were killed here. 5 friends of the community were killed. 5 were abducted. 3 women that were abducted, they were returned, and 2 others were killed in Gaza. We had 30 houses that were burned down.
The kibbutz experienced a few miracles, but also suffered loss, and many of the buildings sustained severe damage as a result of the fighting that took place there. Residents were evacuated and are only now allowed to return.
Growing from the trauma, and we're growing from what happened to us, what happened to our neighbors. But we have to build, and we have to be strong, and we have to think about the future. What it gives us real hope is to see the resilience of these communities. They want to come back, and they want to rebuild not only their lives, but the community life.
CBN Israel staffers have visited Nerim and spent time with the residents, listening to their stories and observing the initial devastation and now the rebuilding process.
So CBN would like to cover the costs of this rebuilding, including the store, the grocery store. If we can even in just some way be a part of that and come alongside you, it's a tremendous privilege to us. It's a blessing to us to be able to just be a part of it.
The dining room is the heart and soul of the kibbutz. And now that the store is going to be there, so it's going to be a magnet, we're going to be coming back to live here. Gaza's not going anyplace. People are going to want to move here. Not only the people who lived here before, unfortunately, there's people that won't be coming back. Community builds resilience. Without community, you don't have kibbutz. We're hoping to be able to come back within a few months. It's going to take years to heal.
Members of kibbutz Nerim are looking ahead to returning to their homes and becoming a community once again, a crucial element of their healing process.
This is the dining room. After October 7th, the old dining room was destroyed. There wasn't a safe room inside. Here in this area, you have between 0 and 10 seconds to run for shelter. We received an amazing gift. So we're gonna have a beautiful place. It's being constructed with the help of CBN, place to gather together in Chagim, Shabbatot, cook as a community and eat together.
When I was in the States, I was brought over to be the guest of honor at the Washington Correspondents' Dinner by CBN. I don't know where we would be if this relationship had not developed in this way. I really don't. But today, I truly, truly know that the Christian community around the world has our backs. And that just gives us so much inspiration and strength. Once the community comes back, Once I can wake up in the morning and hear the children laughing outside on their way to school, that will be my victory.
Well, all of that is thanks to you. If you're part of the CBN Israel community and you're giving, you're helping people very tangibly. If you're not a part, I invite you to join with us. It's real simple. You call us, 1-800-350-2230, and say, I want to join the CBN Israel. I want to be a monthly donor. And there are a lot of different ways you can do it. If you want to go on the webpage, you can go to cbn.com/support Israel. You can also text Support Israel to 71777. Now more than ever, it's important for Christians around the world to stand with Israel and to stand up to the propaganda coming out of Hamas, the threats of violence, the chants that we're hearing on our college campuses right here in America. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's a call for genocide. That's a call to wipe Israel off the map and kill every single Jew and repeat October 7 again and again and again. We cannot possibly support that. We need to support Israel. We need to stand with them. And if you want to do that very tangibly, call us, 1-800-350-2230. Well, for more than a year, Hezbollah rocket attacks on northern Israel forced tens of thousands of people to flee their homes. Well, today the government is allowing them to begin returning to their communities. While many families are eager to return and rebuild, others remain cautious. CBN's Chuck Holton takes us to one city to see how the recovery is unfolding.
The last time our CBN News crew visited Kiryat Shimona in Israel's north, it was a virtual ghost town, and rocket attacks from Hezbollah were an everyday reality. Fine line between brave and stupid. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Get down, get down.
Now, with 2 months of relative peace, more than 60,000 Israelis displaced from their homes are able to return. Life, though, is far from normal as businesses struggle to reopen with only a fraction of residents back home.
We had to evacuate from Bet Hillel. We couldn't stay here. The army asked us to leave Bet Hillel because they're afraid from the bombs.
Hope is budding along with spring, although there are still concerns things may never be the same.
In the first week, I couldn't stop crying all the time. Until the hostages come home, our joy will not complete.
This farm outside Kiryat Shimona, just a few miles from the Lebanese border, is known for these beautiful oranges and the pecans that they grow here. But right now, they're having a hard time finding anybody to come and help them harvest these things. These trees are full of fruit right now. But the foreign-born workers that usually come from Thailand and elsewhere to help them, many of those guys have already moved on to other jobs. And so they are hoping that they can get people to come back and help them get their fruit to market. Now the family's working to rebuild and welcome guests again.
We cleaned everything and start to plant everything, renew everything, and now people start to come back.
For those who have returned, hope remains their region can be rebuilt and return to normal.
To see people come here is amazing. To come back, to see everything come to life again, it's amazing. Sometimes I just stare and speechless of what's happening here.
I'm at the extreme northern border of Israel, just north of the town of Metula, which has been a ghost town for the last 15 months. But now people are starting to come back because if you see that fence right there, that's the border. Just the other side of that is a village inside Lebanon where Hezbollah was firing rockets on a daily basis in here. But that village is nothing but rubble now. And for that reason, the people feel safer coming back home.
While the war, we were open. Meanwhile, all the Kiryat Shimona was evacuated. We basically was the one business that working. We give serve to the police, the military, the soldiers.
This shawarma shop in the center of town was the only restaurant to stay open for the entire war.
Maybe 30% of Kiryat Shimona community has come back. because the evacuation has been longer. So some people has stayed in the hotels, and I hope everyone will come back soon.
Even those who have realize the war is not over.
I cannot tell you the feeling. Now I'm talking with you and I'm starting to cry because I think about all the people that they cannot come back, and about the families and the babies that murdered there. And I love Israel very, very much. I don't want to leave Israel.
From northern Israel, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Well, that shows you the resilience of the Israeli people. They've been under constant attack since their founding in 1948. They declared independence, and all the Arab nations around them declared war. And we have been in that war, that ideological war, ever since. And anytime an Arab leader comes to peace with Israel, from the beginning, when the king of Jordan, because of a military defeat, said, well, I'll come to peace with Israel, well, the very next thing he did was go to the mosque on the Temple Mount, and he was assassinated. The king of Jordan was assassinated right in front of his son. And it was all because he came to peace with Israel. The same with Anwar Sadat, famous for the Camp David Accords, the first Arab leader to ever go and address the Knesset. And he was assassinated very publicly by the Muslim Brotherhood. Please be aware of the ideology behind that. It's an ideology of hate that demonizes the Jews. And as a religious devotion, killing Jews is rewarded. Just look at the cell phone records from October 7th, and here's a teenager from Gaza calling his own parents, bragging about the number of Jews that he's killed. The ideology for most Americans is just unimaginable, but that's the reality, and that's what Israel has been facing ever since its founding, and even before its founding. It's something that when we stand with Israel, we have to understand what we're standing against, an evil that wants to wipe Israel off the map. We've been showing you stories of how the Israelis are building back in the aftermath of devastating attacks, but here's something you may not know. Israelis are considered the most resilient group of people in the world. In the CBN film, The Genius of Israel, you'll see the secret to their post-traumatic growth.
I think Israel may be the most resilient country in the world because we've had so many shocks over so many years, and because we build resilience into the way we raise our children and we grow up. We talk about post-traumatic stress, but there's also something called post-traumatic growth, which is you don't just bounce back. Resilience is when you bounce back to where you were before. Post-traumatic growth is when you bounce back to something better than you were before. So I think the great hope is that we're not only able to bounce back, but we're able to be even stronger, even more united, and actually remember something that we might have forgot, which is that we didn't always have a country.
We are strong. We're going to win it. We're going to become stronger. I believe it.
Well, the incredible genius of Israel, you can watch this documentary, the entirety of it. All you have to do is go to geniusofisraelfilm.com. For a gift of any dollar amount, we'll give you instant 4K streaming. You can also get a DVD copy. So if you want to go to the website and get it, you can. You can also call us, 1-800-350-2230, and say, I want to get Genius of Israel. Here's my gift. And again, it's any dollar amount. We want to get the story out about how Israeli culture is so resilient And Israel consistently ranks in the ratings of what are the happiest people on the planet. You would think after all the terror attacks, all the just devastation, that ranking actually went up after October 7th. They're happy in the middle of all of this tragedy. How do they do it? What is the secret to it? What's the genius of Israel? Well, you can watch it for yourself and learn a whole lot about Israeli culture, Israeli family, what they do to observe community together. And in that, my hope is that you adopt it and say, well, this is a really good way to live and a really good way to go, and build resilience into your own family, into your children, and into your grandchildren. Let's create cultures of resilience, and as Christians, let's learn a whole lot from our older brothers in the faith. Our older brothers and sisters, they know a whole lot more, and it's incredible how they survived through the centuries and through centuries of persecution to arrive where they are today as a light to the nations. Well, here's a word from Isaiah. The Lord has built Jerusalem. Its walls will give refuge to his oppressed people. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining with us. We'll see you again next week.